This week we check out an incredible riff on the classic Gin Sling from Death & Co. Stick around. So today's recipe is a member of a rather specific kind of cocktail family, the Sling, specifically the Gin Sling. It dates way back to the early 1800s, and like most cocktail recipes from that era, it barely consists of anything more than a spirit and a sugar syrup. Research shows that the early Sling recipes would have consisted of something looking like this. Pretty simple, just like the early old fashions and original Navy grog recipes. But in the mid-19th century, throughout Europe and Asia, cocktail recipes started to go through a bit of a evolution. And this simple Sling recipe would see an addition of juices and liqueurs. But in the early 1900s, over in Singapore, we would see the most famous evolution to date at the Raffles Hotel with the Singapore Sling. Even that recipe has gone through its own set of evolutions. What started as a recipe that looked like this in the early 1900s, by the mid-century had evolved into something that was a bit more complex. But throughout these variations, the root of it has always stayed the same: a healthy amount of gin combined with a sweetener. And more often than not, a citrus in there as well. Which brings us to today, where modern bartenders continue to evolve the Gin Sling into interesting new recipes, like today's drink that comes to us from one of my favorite bar institutions, Death & Co. Founded in 2007 in Manhattan, this group of vanguard mixologists continued to push the envelope season after season with new ideas. And in 2009, Joaquín Simó whipped up the City of Gold, which takes a decidedly tiki spin on the classic Gin Sling by adding tropical juices, Orgeat, and even Donn's mix, a popular ingredient in Donn the Beachcomber's recipes, putting it all together with El Dorado, also known as the fabled City of Gold. All right, let's start this beast with a ½ ounce of lime juice, ounce of pineapple juice, ¼ ounce of Orgeat. We're using, of course, Liquid Alchemist. This really starts to add in those tiki elements. ¾ ounce of Donn's Mix number 2. Just a reminder, that's equal parts vanilla syrup and allspice dram. I'm gonna add about a dash of absinthe. Also very Donn the Beachcombery. Let's do our ½ ounce of El Dorado 12. Hence the name. And of course, it wouldn't be a Gin Sling without our 1½ ounces of gin. We're using Leopold's. The Death & Co recipe actually calls for Hayman's Old Tom gin, but I think we'll be okay. Forgive me, Joaquin. And finally, 1 dash of Peychaud's bitters. All right, let's pour this into our shaker. Add a couple ice cubes to chill, dilute, and integrate. Shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. Also just sounds cool. Now, as I understand it, slings are traditionally served in Collins glasses, so we've got a chilled one here. Let's fill it up with some crushed ice. Now it's just strain it in. Normally you garnish this drink with a pineapple wedge, but we're gonna use some pineapple fronds. And there it is, City of Gold. Let's check this bad boy out. On the nose, the pineapple is definitely dominating. I mean, there is a whole ounce of it in there. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. So for a drink that's based on a recipe that's very simple, it's surprisingly complex. I mean, you get those citruses right up in the front with the pineapple and the lime, but then right in the middle, all those spices start to come through. The allspice, the vanilla, lifted up by the rum, and then at the end, you sort of start to taste that absinthe petering out. Overall, it's just an incredible flavor journey from start to finish. Well, that's it. Death & Co actually has a book out where you can find more of these interesting recipes in there. And hey, if you liked this episode, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future tiki recipes and cocktail adventures. Until next time, cheers. the sling, specifically the Gin Sling. Ginseng? Let me just break the glass while I'm at it.